Diane, I sure hope you're ready because I'm not. Well, I got Diane, it's not going to happen. Don't get all stressed out in there, okay? It won't happen, okay? But I have about 6 to 8 hours worth of material here. And I'm wondering, like, how do I push this 8 hours into 2 and then a Georgia, and then I need to be in town by 11. I have an important meeting at 11 in town that I need to go to so I could check on some things. But anyhow, we're going to try to do everything we can to make this happen. I'm your host, BKP. Good Friday morning. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. First of all, I can't find my glasses. Now, I'm serious. Usually they're laying around or they're on my head. You know how it is. And it's been said to me that if I keep losing them, they're going to put the chain around my neck. Whoa, chain around my neck.
I'm almost to that point. I got a chain around my phone. Now I need a chain around my glasses.
Oh, you experience the same thing? Oh, Lord. Okay, so it's Friday. So first and foremost, I was told, don't forget to tell everybody to spring ahead. That's this weekend, Diane. This weekend.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it because I got to be at church early on Sunday. So it's that extra hour Sunday morning is going to hurt.
It's going to hurt. So there you go. We've been told spring ahead. Spring ahead. Da, 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 right? Okay. So that's happening. Don't forget, turn your clocks up. Do you have a clock that you have to turn up? Like, do you have them on the wall? Or does the phone just automatically spring ahead for you? All right, so we've done that. Now, on Friday, I keep saying this because I'm trying to avoid it. Who will be the first casualty of war? Yes, and I know what you're going to say. Really, this is what you're going to discuss on Friday. But I'm listening to the deep state corporate corrupt media this morning, and they are Monday through Thursday. Let us lie to you about everything we possibly can, create a narrative, try to turn things in a certain direction. But on Friday, we really, really, really don't have anything. So we're going to, yes, is it possible? We're going to even tell more lies and try to manipulate the narrative and make it look as though Donald Trump is caving, backtracking, and Elon Musk is getting pushed out, all the above. And they're nervous at the White House. Furthest thing from the truth. And I'm like, oh, man. All right, so there's a lot to think about. When I say who is going to be the first casualty of war, and I really mean this. I really mean this because I've listened to a lot of stuff this week and the last week that I listened to throughout the day that sometimes we don't run on the show. We get to working on other subjects. But if you thought, and I know this audience doesn't think that, but if you thought in November when Trump was elected, there was a sigh of relief, which was okay momentarily, right? It's like the football coach on Friday night. We're going to enjoy this for an hour, and then we're going to start watching film for next week. Wow. Okay. So if you thought on the inauguration, the day of the inauguration, that President Trump was sworn into office, that this was a time to go, actually, we have been preparing for the major battles, and we are in full war. I don't want to come on here and say that on Friday, but we are in full all-out war. And my concern is who's going to be the first casualty of war. Just saying. I'm telling you who will be. Someone in the cabinet, an advisor, someone out here in the media that is actually telling the truth. Who will be the first casualty of war? We're going to talk about that. Now, yesterday was crossover in Georgia. Just for you guys out there, yesterday was crossover. The Georgia State House passed on crossover day. Now, they are not in session down there. We'll talk about that at 10 o'clock. But the Georgia State Legislature is not in session today. It will resume Monday. Last night was crossover. And yesterday, the House passed a record number of bills, 75 yesterday. 75 bills in the state. What do we need in Georgia that requires 75 more bills that could end up being laws? Just in one day, passed over to the Senate. Wow. And SB 303, although it did not make it out of the Senate, it's not over. Got it? It's not over. We'll talk about that. That's the one. Let's go here, Diane, before we get really deep into this morning. Number 43. Some of you got pretty excited. I'll say that. About SB 303 and the possibility of getting rid of the machines and going to what President Trump is requesting. I mean, move it out of, I'm going to speak for him. I'm for sure Sam Carnline, all right, the Grady boys down there, Field Cersei, I'm for sure all of them, Garland Favorito, I'm for sure every one of them, voter GA, will defer to President Trump and say, hey, it's not me, it's President Trump. I'm for sure they will, because President Donald J. Trump said, governors, this is what we need to do. All right. So we're not in the victory lap. All right. We're not here to do any victory laps. We're not. I talk to these people all the time. The people that are truly focused on election security. I don't like the words election integrity anymore. That got bastardized. Excuse me, Mom, for using that this morning on Friday. That just got bastardized in Georgia, all right, by the grifters, the drifters, the drive-bys, the storm chasers. The people that are truly involved in Georgia in election security, we're not interested in the hero status. We're interested in protecting our elections and Georgia. That's it. So we'll say, hey, thank you, Donald Trump. Boom. Dania, you are working so hard. Don't give up. It's not over. We'll talk about that later in the show. The possibility of getting rid of these machines is not over. It's not finished. Later in the show. Okay. Moving right along. What else do I have here? So we'll talk. Number 4, Macron. Worldwide, I just want to throw this out here. When did France think that when did or Macron, the dude looks like a lady. You're a child. Your wife is more man than you are. What makes France think that you guys could step up and have nuclear deterrent? France is like, all right, Germany, Poland, all get out of the way. We will take the lead. Really? Really? Okay. So, all right, take that down. We'll discuss that later in the show. That is humorous to me. They will take the lead. So, the tariffs. The tariffs. Donald Trump is backtracking. Let's see if I have a couple of these. We're really going to get into this morning, Diane. Number 5, yesterday, they were on the phone. All right. In fact, I didn't put it up today. I don't have time for this, but I read a couple accounts that in a press conference that Trump has actually brought Justin Trudeau, this child in Canada, to tears. Now, I'm going to stay focused on the fact that Trump could bankrupt Canada and basically bankrupt Mexico. Now, we have a bigger and multiple issues in Mexico that have to be dealt with. But Canada knows, and to the Canadian people out there, sorry, but Justin Trudeau knows that Trump could bankrupt Canada in 30 days. So yesterday, Trump was begged by the auto manufacturers to give them more time. Give us a little more time, Mr. President. We're just give us another 30 days to figure out how we would handle this. All right. And Trudeau is begging, look, we stole your manufacturing with NAFTA. We know that. We know we're guilty of stealing the Americans' jobs. Right. But let's see what we can't figure it out. Please do not collapse. Do not collapse Canada. We cannot go back to just being, fur traders. I'm not being negative to all Canadians, but yesterday he was on the phone. I told you that. The auto manufacturers, Trump was on the phone, all right? And number 7, Trump backtracks delays on tariffs on Canada and Mexico. He doesn't backtrack. He's not backtracking, all right? It didn't happen. Number 10, tariff turmoil roils the markets. Just some words I struggle with. You know it, and I know it. Number 12, Trump to delay more Canadian and Mexican tariffs until April. Number 13, U.S. pauses tariffs on more Mexican and Canadian goods. 14, U.S. stocks slide amid Donald Trump's tariff chaos. That's not what happened. We only have 2 hours here. That's not what happened. Trump is exactly right. The globalists around the world. Now, this is where, the globalists around the world, this is where Jerome Powell over at the Fed, and there's nothing federal about the Reserve, okay? This is where they are trying to play games with the market. Number 15. So in America, for seniors, there's 3 major fears that you may have today as seniors in America. Your 401k collapses. You've seen that. You've seen that happen before, right? Remember, after 2008, you remember the last collapse with George W. Bush of the stock market. You remember that one, the total collapse, where they actually had to freeze the market trading that day. There's 3 things that they feel will really scare seniors in America. 1 is your 401k. 2, your Social Security. What is 3? I had 3 things a minute ago. And boom, third one's out the window. Your Social Security, your Medicare, your 401k. There's a couple things that they really put seniors in fear, and they know what they're doing. All right, they know exactly what they're doing, because here, we always look to. Now, I like young people. I like young people. I do. Don't take that wrong. But let me give you. This is number 17. So, Bloomberg White House reporter. And every day, I never do this in the morning, but every day, CNN, MSNBC, they bring these children in. And I was like, did her parents drive her to the studio? And did she just get her braces off yesterday? I'm sorry, I'm not attacking young people, but they bring these people in to discuss tariffs and what they mean to you and I. Look, if you are still on your parents' health insurance, if you're still driving a car that your parents are making the car payments, if you're still getting supplements from your parents every month, you don't qualify to go on any network and tell us what the tariffs are doing to this country and who they could affect. Number 18, Trump suspends tariffs on Canada and Mexico for 1 month. Number 19, there it is. Trump walks back tariffs on a range of goods. Well, here's one for Friday. Number 20, will the government shut down? We're gonna get into the government shutdown in just a moment. So the other one out there that's really making the news is number 27. Trump appears to put new limits on Elon Musk Doge his authority. That's not true. That's not true. It's not. I shall explain. That's why I told you. That's what's difficult today is it's Friday. Who's going to be the first casualty of war? Number 28. Right? Trump suspends tariffs on Canada and Mexico for 1 month. 1 month. Number 30, Trump blames globalists for market sell-off. '31, the pivotal February jobs report is out Friday. That's today. It'll be out. See if I have anything else. We'll leave it there for right now. Right now. So if they don't have anything else, no, we won't. Give me number 34. If they don't have anything else, we'll go with the, families. Let's scare everybody that Trump's going to go in and take dad away from the children today. Now, backing up. Elon Musk, Doge, and what has happened in the last 45 days. Now, yesterday, give me number 3. Yesterday, you heard, we played it on this program. You heard former congressman, now Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Trump administration plans to cut more than 70,000 jobs at the Veterans Affairs. So, veterans, the VA, losing your benefits, losing your Social Security, your 401 could collapse, all the above, right? Now, we played the video yesterday where Secretary Collins over at the VA said, I welcome the review. Look at the 1%. Remember, look at the 1%, or was it 2% of the billions of dollars of contracts that they already have cut? How many millions in wasteful contracts. None of this is being discussed. And remember, the 72,000 are added employees since 2019. Now, no one can tell you what 70,000, now 2019, these are not VA cuts. These are not VA employee cuts that have anything to do with the daily services. You got to remember, these jobs were added since 2019. Now there's not a corporation. Now keep this in mind. All right. Now Apple says they're going to invest. Now you think about this. We've got to stop this. This is the war. It has to be stopped. Apple's going to invest a beginning of $500 billion and add 20,000 jobs. 20,000 jobs, right? This is the government, and one agency since 2019 has added 70,000 jobs. For what? Now, they're not letting go VA doctors. They're not hurting your benefits. They said yesterday that they were looking at this, and the cut of 70,000 jobs, they have put it together. They're in the process. Yesterday, one day in 24 hours, we showed you Hawkincloss, or whatever his name is, the congressman up in Massachusetts. What did he say? It's already affecting veterans' benefits in my area. Bullshit. It is not affecting any veterans' benefits in your area. It's the continued lies that you guys tell to try to protect the United States of bureaucracy. Not of America, the United States of bureaucracy. Period. They're trying to protect. So this is all lies. We know it, and it's all attacks. Now, on any given day, you heard yourself. In fact, let's play video two, and I'm going to play some Elon clips, and we know why they're freaking out. Go with video 2, Trump in the cabinet meeting yesterday.
I want the cabinet members go first, keep all the people you want, everybody that you need. And it would be better if they were there for 2 years instead of 2 weeks, because in 2 years they'll know the people better. But I want them to do the best job they can. When we have good people, Elon and the group are going to be watching them. And if they can cut, it's better. And if they don't cut, then Elon will do the cutting.
And Senate Republican leader John Thune says that he's trying to get clarification about a reported 70,000 layoffs coming at the Department of Veterans Affairs. Thune says that he thinks that cabinet members should take the lead on staffing decisions at their agencies.
This is why we work so hard to get cabinet people in place, is hand it off to these leaders, these managers who are going to be making decisions, and they're going to be, I think, probably better attuned.
Do you feel that, is he going to do that?
I think that's a conversation that we'll have.
All right, so the anger and the hate. Here's Pocahontas. Where's Pocahontas? I had Pocahontas here. Give me video 8, Pocahontas.
You had to say one thing to Elon Musk and his 18-year-old Doge, cabal. What would you say?
I'd say follow the law and get the hell out of our agencies. Get the hell out of our government. Nobody elected you. You have no legal authority to be there and no legal authority to do the things you are doing. And the things that Elon Musk is doing hurt real people.
Elon, you have no legal authority to highlight how much we are stealing. How dare you highlight how much we are stealing and the waste and fraud? How dare you, right? So all that happened yesterday, let me tell you all that happened. There was a cabinet meeting behind closed doors. Elon Musk was in the room, I understand. There were 4 or 5 cabinet members missing based on they had to be somewhere. And it was cleared up. Now, when I say cleared up, well, let's just say this. It was never, Trump reiterated, look, you are the department heads. Elon Musk is looking and will look and continue to look with the team in these areas. But if you don't want these cuts, if you feel there's something you got to say, you're the ones running the show on the day-to-day. So let's all make sure we're clear. Now remember, Elon Musk said in the cabinet meeting that what? He said, look, this is probably the greatest cabinet that's ever been assembled. He has never come out and said one negative word about a cabinet member. He's never come out in public on any interview and said anything derogatory about the cabinet member themselves. Nothing. All support. And the majority of all cabinet members highly support him and Doge. Now, the media is carrying something that didn't happen. And you heard Donald Trump say, hey, if you go in there and you don't make the cuts I'm looking for, Elon will. You can do the job or somebody will do it for you. But you are the one that's the secretary. That's very simple. We're not going to sit here for hours and hours and belabor that. It's very simple. Donald will let you know. Now, in the grand scheme of media manipulation, that can hurt. Not the truth in reporting, media manipulation. And I'm going to tell you, I agree 100%. Not 98, 97, 100% I agree with. And I don't want to use this is what hurt. But last week when Elon Musk went on Joe Rogan, because that's what we do here, we bring the facts of what's going on. All right? We don't carry any water. You know that. When Elon Musk went on Joe Rogan last week and said this, give me video 11.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Right, explain that.
Oh, so well, people pay into Social Security, and the money goes out of Social Security immediately. But the obligation for Social Security is your entire retirement career. So you're paying with you're paying like if you look at the future obligations of Social Security, it far exceeds the tax revenue. Far. Have you ever looked at the debt clock?
Yes.
Okay. There's our present day debt, but then there's our future obligations. So when you look at the future obligations of Social Security, the actual national debt is like double what people think it is because of the future obligations. So basically, people are living way longer than expected, and there are fewer babies being born. So you have more people who are retired and that live for a long time and get retirement payments. So the future obligations. So however bad the financial situation is right now for the federal government, it will be much worse in the future. At the risk of being a buzzkill here.
Did you see...
So we better fix what we got right now, because if it's bad now, it's going to be much worse in the future.
All right, so, there's that famous line in the movie, and we all know it, and we use it when it's appropriate, right? Or when it just hits home. You can't handle the truth. Why don't you tell me the truth? You can't handle it. And this hit. Now, it hit in multiple ways. And you're like, Diane, can you get the debt clock? Because Diane's really good at that. All right. So the tax revenue. Now, Democrats yell, and they put out there that the tax revenue, right? And we need to raise tax revenue. I don't want to call it a plan, but their plan is to take your money. And they keep yelling. What do they keep yelling? We need to take the cap off Social Security. Now, there's a cap on Social Security. I don't know the number, but no matter how wealthy you are, the individual in America only has to pay in X. So there's a cap on your Social Security taxable income. Meaning, and I don't know what the number is, and that's not the point. I think I can convey the meaning here. Meaning, if you make $80,000 a year, you pay in X. If you make $90,000, you pay in X, and it gets up to like 140 grand. I don't know, right? And right there, it doesn't matter if you made $1 million, $2 million, $3 million. That's the cap. Says every American's only obligated to pay in that much. All right. Democrats are running around right now saying, well, we have to lift the Social Security obligation, not fix Social Security, not fix it, not repair, not look into anything. Because remember, the savings they want to lead you to believe is only couch cushion money. Remember that? That's, oh, they found 20 million. Yeah. All right. Well, that got lost under the couch. What's that in the grand scheme of things? That won't fix this. That won't repair this over here. Just won't do it. But he brought the truth. So the cap, that's what they keep talking about, meaning that the taxable Social Security rate needs to, for mega millionaires, mega billionaires, whatever, keep going up. And they call that your fair share. That's what the Democrats want. That is their thought in fixing Social Security. But he brought the hard truth, our liabilities. Now, you will hear Scott Bessent, this Treasury Secretary, you will hear everyone talk about the liabilities versus the revenue. And what Elon Musk just said, now this goes with, and don't get me wrong here, I'm not trying to be offensive, but this deep state corporate corrupt media, they always want to take a bill and throw a CBO score on it. CBO score. So they look at level and rate of spending now, blank, blank, CBO score. Congressional Budget Office is a joke, total joke. So what he's telling you is if you look this morning and you see 36 trillion, 565, blah, 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 and it's moving too fast for me to keep up with, our debt is actually double that based on future obligations that we don't have the money for. And as you well know, again, you can't handle the truth. He said in the cabinet meeting, remember, this all happened within a week. He said in the cabinet meeting, this is not a matter of just us wanting to do this. This is a matter of we don't have a choice. This is it. We don't have a choice. There's no last chance grill. That's what Scott Bessent said at the New York Economic Club yesterday in an interview. This is last chance cafe. This is it. So from Scott Bessent to Elon Musk, so much truth has hit. And they know they're getting caught on every angle. And that's why they're out there yelling and screaming. Now, I don't agree with this lady. Let me put it like this, but here is what they're talking about, and they're putting money behind this all over the country. They staged, okay? Democrats put plans in place. Over here on the media, the Republicans and everybody have you believing that, well, they're looking for leadership. They're looking for their direction. They're looking for their future. They're lost. Democrats are lost. Well, I don't totally disagree with that, but somehow something out there continues to put their plans in action. The plans are in action. They flooded these town halls with fake, phony protesters that drove for hours to yell and scream at Rich McCormick in town halls. That was part of their plan. So the obligations, Elon Musk is responsible for telling you the truth. Now, this, again, I don't like this lady. Where's she at? But the response, nobody stayed up to watch the response from Democrats the other night, video 10.
In order to pay for his plan, he could very well come after your retirement. The Social Security, Medicare, and VA benefits you worked your whole life to earn. The president claims he won't, but Elon Musk just called Social Security the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Look, you want to scare seniors? And I'm sorry. You want to scare seniors? Make them think their next Social Security check's not coming in. You want to scare seniors? Let them think that there's not going to be any more Medicare. You want to scare seniors? Let them think that their VA benefits are gone. Now, what Elon Musk said about Social Security, I'm going to look you in the eye and tell you, is not 97, 96. It's 100% true. All right? But that was a hard one to put out. And I think he had to do it because the minute our obligations cross our revenue and our interest crosses the rate of revenue, when you think we're done, we're done. When that interest crosses just for the debt, our rate of revenue, and you cannot, just so you know out there, you cannot take all of Elon Musk's money. You cannot take all of Bill Gates. You cannot take all their money and pay the debt off. Because as the Democrats like to say, that is like couch cushion money compared to the debt. We only have one way to do it. And it's the hard way. It is the hard way. Not the easy way. It's the hard way. But we're in that. Now, they're freaking out this morning. Give me number 22. And I've gone too long right now. They're freaking out right now because Social Security Administration employees are banned from shopping online while they're supposed to be at the job. They're banned from going to all their favorite shopping and all their favorite sites while on a computer you're supposed to be working for the people. And they're freaking out because they got banned from that. That's news to CNN and others, is how they got banned. And look, every time you read where Donald Trump put Elon Musk in his place, it's just not true. It's just not true. And obviously, everything these people say is just not true. We'll get into this later in the show. I'm going to come back. Let me do that. I'll come back, and on the flip side, all right, what really has them nervous in D.C. Take a break.
Days Chevrolet Jasper is North Georgia's business elite commercial truck giant. Box trucks, landscape trucks, flatbed and heavy hauling trucks. When you've got a job to do, we've got the commercial truck for you. And get a federal tax credit up to 100% of the purchase price. Hundreds of commercial trucks are all right here at Days Chevrolet Jasper. Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
All right, folks, we're back. During the break, I went and located my specs. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. Yes, I thought Trudeau resigned. My understanding is he said he would resign as the leader of the Liberal Party. Now, in In America, we're dominated by the two-party system, which is really the uniparty. We know that. But where there's a parliament, like the UK and I guess Germany, their structure of government, and Canada is where they have so many different parties, and you have to win enough seats, and then you got to get a coalition government. And the Liberal Party, or whatever it is in Canada that he is the head of, that he got a coalition government, and he's prime minister there, or governor. That really ticks him off, governor. He said he would not, seek re-election, or he will resign as head of that party. So, and Trump is saying, yeah, I think you're planning to stay in power. Now, so the hard truth. Now, who will be the first casualty of war? I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. And why I say that, and I'm sorry to say that on a Friday, is I'm concerned. Money, war, it's a very dangerous thing. It's a very dangerous thing, okay? You stop a lifeline of cash through corrupt. Now, this is not the five families, and I've said this, and I'll just move along. I think the U.S. government studied the five families so well, and they brought them down for a reason, is so they could become the crime syndicate and control everything. Yeah, I don't see, the five families had someone designated in every family that was their killer. I don't know. Oh, no, that doesn't happen, right? But that being said, money, war is profitable. Trillions of dollars went out the door. All right, went into people's pockets. We know Joe Biden didn't even know he was there, and this is something that has come up, number 52. All right. This has come up, and it's being studied now. And we all know this. Whoever controlled the auto pen controlled the presidency. So they're researching now almost everything. It looks as though everything that was signed by Joe Biden, auto pen was used. The auto pen, whoever controlled that. So we pretty well, and that's what is being talked about right now. We pretty well, number 53, know that the Biden administration, will call it that, is null and void. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey asked the Department of Justice to investigate whether Biden's cognitive mental decline allowed unelected officials to make decisions without his knowledge or approval. All right. That if that's the case, Biden's executive orders, pardons, and other actions may be unconstitutional and void. Now, every single day, right? Every single day, you watch Trump sign things. He signs things. Boom, boom, boom. Signs it every day. I think everything he does, he publicly comes out and signs it. Now, is there a reason he does that? Is there a reason his signature is so, and he goes like this? Is there a reason? Does Donald Trump know all along that this entire administration was forged? Now, the old days, right? You have the CEO that has a treasurer that's allowed to sign the checks, and they had a stamp, right? You remember when you ordered a stamp? This is going in the back, way back machine, and you really didn't sign it. You gave somebody the stamp. They signed a document to you, knowing that your stamp with your name was in their possession, and they could do that. I used to have one years ago in a different business, so we know that. But are these pardons signed by AutoPen? What's signed by AutoPen? Trillions of dollars. So that being said, take that down. Now, the money. I told you in Kiev, we know, right? First of all, the Europeans are coming together. They're going to give Zelensky all the money he wants, help support nuclear weapons, whatever he may need. Oh, my God. We know that. 2, we know the billions and trillions of dollars that have gone through the laundromat. We know the billions of dollars that have gone through the military-industrial complex. We know all of that. Where did it land? You and I know Tucker Carlson said that it was going on the black market to the cartels. Yesterday, did you see Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, and J.D. Vance go to the southern border? Intelligence, military, vice president of the United States, southern border. 2 days after Donald Trump basically, my words, declared war on the cartels? Or did Trump say it's time to declare war on the cartels? You look it up. The cartels out billions. The industrial complex out billions. NGOs, churches, sorry to say, out millions and millions that come back, right? We played 2 weeks ago. Have you heard it anywhere else? Remember Whitehead, the senator of Rhode Island, passing bills that had like $6-point-something million for an NGO that his wife was the head of, and we found out that the NGO paid his wife, because you could do that, an undetermined amount, but in the millions of dollars. It's all over. And it could get someone killed. Give me video 7.
It's more than just insider trading. Like the insider trading stuff, like the stock portfolio stuff is quite trackable, but there's, it's a lot more than insider trading.
The way they're acquiring wealth.
Correct.
And what other methods?
I mean, this is really going to get me assassinated. It's like, I'm not lengthening my lifespan by explaining this stuff, to say the least. I mean, I was supposed to go back to DC. How am I going to survive? This is going to kill me for sure. In fact, I do think like it's like I actually have to be careful that I don't push too hard on the corruption stuff, because it's going to get me killed. Yeah, it's like I was actually thinking about that on the plane flight over here. It's like if I push too hard on the corruption stuff, people get desperate.
People get desperate. People get desperate. I'm telling you. It's going to get him killed. That's how bad it is. Because he knows. And you know, but he has been looking at it firsthand of how someone goes to Washington. And this is not just a stock portfolio. I mean, you don't want insider trading. And you want these people, the Nancy Pelosi's of the world, that do the insider trading. But some of these people, you're wondering, wait a minute, you went up there, you were worth like, $300,000 and most of that's the home you owned or whatever. Now you're worth $18 million? How did that happen? The corruption. And he knows people are going to get desperate. And he could get killed. Now, I'm going to bring this up. That's why I said on a Friday. I'm going to give you some homework. I know. It's Friday. You know, didn't you hate that teacher on Friday that gave out homework? Remember? You're like, Friday, teachers were supposed to be cool. No homework, right? And then you had the one teacher that said, if you act up, there'll be homework. And it's Friday. Try to use it. But look, I'm going to give you some homework. Like it or not, there are some things that we can't get in 2 hours or 2.5 hours today is all I have. We just can't get it in there. You have homework to do. I'm going to lay the groundwork. Remember, will someone be killed? Look at this, 44. This is, remember, I brought this up. That's why you tune into this program. This is the Kiev Independent, right? Funded by basically our government, propaganda, funding Ukraine, funding the Kiev Independent. And how U.S. right-wing podcasters shape pro-Russia, anti-Ukrainian sentiments. Now, we have played on this show how many times Tucker Carlson, right? You have McCall from Texas saying Intel says Russia is, Tucker Carlson's a Russian operative, right? That's happening. Then you have Tucker Carlson really made Zelensky angry because he said it's a fact they're selling our stuff. And then I told you this week or last week with Zelensky in the office, I said, you know, Trump's sitting there. You don't have the cards, dude. We all know what you've done. You don't have the cards. You got it? Now, we have cut off intel going to him. We've cut off aid going to him, military equipment going to him. All right? Because what we're going to do is find out where that money chain stops. Joe Rogan. I mean, I have to tell you, will it be a member of Congress? Will it be someone in the administration? Will it be Trump? Will it be Tucker Carlson? Will it be Elon Musk? Because I'm telling you right now, people get desperate. Now, I hope there's no casualties in this war. There's signals being sent now. 45, right? 45. Here's Joe Rogan and Trump, 46. Here's Tucker and when he interviewed Putin, which we all watched. Now, the media wants to tell you, so this happened last week. So let's move on to, because I got to get this one out also. I want to talk about Scott Bessent. Let's go with video 5, the NGOs. I mean, these are things that we know, and you may have already watched this interview, but we're going to put it all together today. Video 5.
Yeah.
Was when you guys first started investigating it, when you first get in, how much of it was shocking? Like this, just the size of it all.
Well, the size of it all, the small decisions result in multi-billion-dollar outcomes. So, you know, we'd see, there was a case where we saw one person was getting $1.9 billion sent to their NGO, which basically got formed about a year ago and had no prior, no prior activity. So they just stand up an NGO. The whole NGO thing is a nightmare, and it's a misnomer because if you have a government-funded non-governmental organization, you're simply a government-funded organization. It's an oxymoron.
Right. It's a loophole.
Yes. It basically, the government-funded NGOs are a way to do things that would be illegal if they were the government, but are somehow made legal if it's sent to a so-called nonprofit. But these nonprofits are then used to people cash out these nonprofits. They become very wealthy through nonprofits. They pay themselves enormous sums through these nonprofits.
It's so insane that that's been going on for so long.
It's a gigantic scam, like one of the biggest, maybe the biggest scam ever.
And how many NGOs?
I think there's a total number of NGOs, probably millions, but in terms of large NGOs, tens of thousands. I mean, it's actually kind of a hack to the system where someone can get an NGO stood up for a fairly small amount of money. Like George Soros was really good at this. Like George Soros is like a system hacker. Like he figured out how to hack the system. He's a genius at arbitrage. I mean, these days he's pretty old, but a genius at arbitrage. So he figured out that you could leverage a small amount of money to create a nonprofit, then lobby the politicians to send a ton of money to that nonprofit, so you can take what might be, a $10 million donation to a nonprofit to create a nonprofit and leverage that into $1 billion NGO. And a nonprofit is a weird word. It's just a non-governmental organization, and then the government continues to fund that every year, and it'll have a nice sounding name, like the Institute for Peace or something like that. But really, it's a graft machine.
They fund every year. Okay, see, I know how this works. All right. So in business for years, you can go if you're in sales and marketing or whatever, and you can go every year and try to get business, and you'll be told once you get in the budget, right? Once I have you in the budget, you're just there. You get renewed every year. Like, there's companies that are in corporate budgets that should be gone, but they just renew them every year. And the struggle is getting in the budget that's out there in the real world. So I do understand what he means by that. Look, once you get in there, you're going to be an NGO that gets funded every year. So first of all, there's a year ago with no activity there, and you got $1 billion. We told you this the other day. I mean, these people go and they open an NGO and they put $100 to open the bank account. That's no joke. I think I don't know what the rule is now, but it used to be like you had to put in $100. Give me $100, put it in, open the account. There's NGOs with no activity whatsoever that opened a bank account with $100, and you just heard him say $1 billion was deposited in there. Wow. That's a lot of trust, $1 billion worth of trust that you will work with that. No prior activity once you're in the budget. So he uses scam. He talks about Ponzi's, scams, millions, tens of thousands of these NGOs. Tens of thousands, billions of dollars, trillions of dollars put out going through these NGOs. What would be illegal for the government? Now, he talked about George Soros, and he admits he's very good at these things. So let's see. I like this. It's almost on down the same line, but it's actually, how do these NGOs get money? We have to put an end to the lobbyist structure. An end. Give me video 6. He's revealing way too much stuff. Video 6.
It's kind of a hack to the system where someone can get an NGO stood up for a fairly small amount of money. Like George Soros was really good at this. Like George Soros is like a system hacker. Like he figured out how to hack the system. He's a genius at arbitrage. I mean, these days he's pretty old, but a genius at arbitrage. So he figured out that you could leverage a small amount of money to create a nonprofit, then lobby the politicians to send a ton of money to that nonprofit, so you can take what might be, a $10 million donation to a nonprofit to create a nonprofit and leverage that into $1 billion NGO. A nonprofit is a weird word. It's just a non-governmental organization, and then the government can
You start an NGO, you have lobbyists. Lobbyists go lobby the lawmakers to get their NGO in the budget. Now, I'm going to say this, but lobbyist goes, and, they call it a quid pro quo or something like that. So I don't know if this is exactly how they say it. And I don't know if lobbyists come into the office and with a briefcase and forget it when they leave. I don't know. But I know this much. Lobbyist comes in. Can I get this into my budget? Hey, you're a congressman from my district. Yes. I have an NGO in your district. You do. Yes. I'd like to, we're helping the sea lions. You are? I've always been fond of sea lions. Yes, we're saving the sea lion. Whatever. Okay. I'd like to get our NGO in your budget this year. And how does that benefit me? Now, they can't say that. And they don't say, how's that work out for me? They can't say those things. But somehow it happens. And these people go in there worth $500,000 and they come out 12, 14, 16, 20, 30 years later with millions of dollars. Now, he said this. Let's see what else I have, because I've got something, because these things are, I don't want to go into George Soros right now. But let's see if I have anything else on that. All right, we're going to leave that alone for now, but I'm just telling you who will be the first casualty. Because, see, here you go, number 49. People get desperate. He is so correct. He is so, correct. People get desperate. FEMA finance chief fired for putting illegal migrants in 5-star hotels, reveals sinister setup plot by Doge, right? Give me number 50. Here is Elon Musk. People get desperate. A criminal action. FEMA CFO Mary Comins was just fired for funneling $58 million to illegal migrant hotels in Manhattan. I am just telling you now. I sure hope there's no casualties in this war. And I hope, number one, they stay on our side. I hope they stay on our side. I really do. I do. I hope they stay on our side if the day comes. Now, yesterday, before I take a break, because we're going to get to Scott Bessent, because look, the tariffs, Trump's economic plan, the automakers, everything's moving along. Yes, the price of meat. Yes, eggs. They are doing this intentionally. You shall see. Hang on. So they don't talk about this, obviously. They talk about Elon Musk, right? But they do not talk about, I had it here, number 51. And Trump's FDA boss pick shockingly reveals how U.S. is poisoning the nation's kids. The doctor tapped to lead one of America's largest health agencies, the FDA, said millions of children are being drugged, right, to combat the side effects of contaminated food supply. People get desperate. We are touching the third rail everywhere we look. Give me video 9, Diane.
Young people for so long. Half of our nation's children are sick, and nobody has really been doing anything meaningful on this front until we have gotten new momentum and enthusiasm from Secretary Kennedy and President Trump to finally address the root causes of these diseases, general body inflammation and generalized insulin resistance. And food has a part of it. Food has a big part of it. When we eat foods with a lot of molecules that do not appear in nature, these are chemicals. These are chemicals that the industry insists are safe, a subset of which are concerning. There's a body of research now that suggests concern with some of these ingredients. We have to look at those ingredients, and you have my commitment to do so if confirmed as FDA commissioner. These chemicals are creating an inflammatory response in the gastrointestinal tract. And with an altered microbiome lining that GI tract, kids feel sick. It's not an acute inflammatory reaction. It's a chronic, low-grade reaction, and they don't feel well. And what are we doing? We are drugging our nation's children at scale. At scale. We have to reassess what we're doing because we're not on a good path right now.
Yeah, I grew up in
drugging our kids on a scale. This is Dr. McCary. Is that how you pronounce his name? Dr. McCary, FDA. FDA. That somehow that's not news over at CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, all the above, NBC. None of it. That's not newsworthy. It's Elon Musk and Trump and so on and so forth. Now, I want to also I want to put this out before we go to break because Rand Paul, I wish Rand Paul, I like him, would stay out of the tariffs conversation and stay in here a little more. But I'm not upset with him. He is the guy that pinned Fauci down that we should be putting in prison. Video 12.
With regard to the vaccine committees, and they talk about whether they meet or they don't meet and things, and there have been some questions, and one of the questions that I've been bringing forward is whether or not there could be a conflict of interest. And one of the things I've asked, and you would think it would be universally accepted by everyone without question, is you should have to reveal if you get royalties from drug companies. So if you're making a decision on a Pfizer vaccine or a Moderna vaccine, I would think the least of transparency should be that you reveal, if you get royalties from those companies. Do you think we need to evaluate the people on the committees or see whether they get royalties or see whether or not there are conflict of interest for the people making these decisions?
Yes, I do, Senator. We need to review the ethics policy because people see things that appear to be a cozy relationship between industry and the regulators that are supposed to be regulating the products. Now, I want American companies to thrive. I want life sciences companies to thrive, but we need to call balls and strikes and to keep that independent scientific review process free of any conflicts. So I do think it deserves a look.
All right, so let me find this. Here's what it's called. I had it here. Let's see. I had it here. Maybe I'm not going to be able to find it immediately. All right. Give me just a second before I go to break. I thought I had something here I wanted you to. All right. I don't have it. Oh, confirmation bias. Keep that in mind. Confirmation bias. So the FDA poisoning our children. We're drugging the children because we're causing the problem in the food system. Money. Now, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary. I want to talk about his interview yesterday. We will go through rapidly. Diana gave some time stamps. We're going to go through that when we return. And some things we have going on here at the network that we're going to talk about. I'm not going to say major changes, but some things we're working on to make the product better, more available, things like that. So we'll be back right after these brief messages. Take us to break, Diane.
Days Chevrolet Jasper is North Georgia's business elite commercial truck giant. Box trucks, landscape trucks, flatbed and heavy hauling trucks. When you've got a job to do, we've got the commercial truck for you. And get a federal tax credit up to 100% of the purchase price. Hundreds of commercial trucks are all right here at Days Chevrolet Jasper. Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender. We take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, there's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, We can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
Chevrolet Jasper is North Georgia's business elite commercial truck giant. Box trucks, landscape trucks, flatbed and heavy hauling trucks. When you've got a job to do, we've got the commercial truck for you. And get a federal tax credit up to 100% of the purchase price. Hundreds of commercial trucks are all...
All right, we're back. We're back, folks. Woo. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics on voiceofruralamerica.com. All right, so, sorry about that. Running around, trying to do multitask. Give me number 58, Diane. Senator Colton Moore is asking the Fulton County Magistrates Court for an arrest warrant this morning. We're going to talk about that before we close. Now, Diane, give me video one. Don't give it to me yet. This is Scott Bessent. Give me video. Let's see. Sorry about that. Number 56. Running up and down the stairs trying to get everything done. Had a little incident. Bessent defends Trump tariff. Access to cheap goods is not the American dream. I told you the other day, and I'm not going to do this segment to bore you. I really not. But this guy is right in the top of a brilliant mind that I love to hear this guy talk and explain how things work. I want to privatize. I have yelled for years, this is a fake economy. There's nothing about this economy that's correct. The economic engine, all right, the largest growth in the United States has been in the government sector, not the private sector. You cannot withstand that. And he gave a great speech yesterday, or interview, at the, I have it here somewhere, at the New York Economic Club. Go to video one, and I have 106, minute 106. And because we have this going on. Wait a minute, Diane, I'm sorry. Diane's like, are we ready or not? And this is where we have the government shutdown, number 20. So they're all talking about the government shutdown, right? And that is March 14th, by the way. But we have an economic plan. It's all coming together. The leadership that Trump has put together for this. Let's go. Video one, start at 106, Diane.
In the 2017 bill.
Look, I think that certainty, the closer we get to the tax bill expiring, the more what I would call an uncertainty tax goes up. So the sooner we can get this done, I lead something, Larry, I believe you were part of it, but it's called the Big Six. So it's myself, Kevin Hassett, the NEC director, Leader Thune, Chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, Senator Crapo, Speaker Johnson, and the Chairman of the House Finance Committee, Jason Smith, and the 6 of us are going at this every day to try to get it done as soon as possible so that there is no glitch in what's going on. Because the longer we wait, the bigger the chance that the unthinkable could happen and we could have this catastrophic tax increase. And I know that President Trump believes that one of the reasons that the 2018 midterms were unsuccessful was that it was an amazing tax.
All right. So we can't have, as we come back between this, Diane, let's go with, go ahead with 57 or 56, whichever one. We can't have this catastrophic tax increase. We cannot. Now, they will talk about tariffs being a tax, right? They will say to you every day, we're going to reprivatize. This is the only thing we can do. They will say to you every single day what? They'll say, hey, tariffs will add $1,130 some to the average family next year. They never talk about the tax expiring. Now, I had a certified CPA on here that deals with the Trump taxes every day with their clients that said to this audience, everyone benefits from the Trump tax cuts, everyone. Not just what Pocahontas says, the billionaires and the millionaires, everyone benefits. It'll be an enormous tax on the American people. So we have to get the tax breaks done. Now, that being said, he said they're working on it every day. There's 6 of them together working on this. Now, Diane, I want to go to the CBO. And this is one of the best, little boring explanations, but it is true on the CBO score. Now, MSNBC and all the networks will run out and they'll start telling you what the CBO score is on something, and it's an absolute joke. 2 minutes and 40 seconds, Diane.
Out over the next 10 or 20 years.
I think so. For those of you, when I used to sit out there for 35 years, I thought I knew how Washington accounting works, and I was wrong. Now that I'm inside the sausage factory, just so everyone, so we could kind of level set, CBO scoring makes Enron look conservative. I mean, it's crazy. The things that they have. And when Larry and I talk about current policy scoring, that if we don't use current policy, the current CBO protocol, and this is why I think now being on the inside, we've gotten into this spending mess, into this tax mess, that the current baseline, I don't know why we're calling this extending the tax cuts. It is the current tax policy. Extending the current tax policy that gets rescored. Extending current spending, the current spending that got put in does not get rescored. So guess which is easier to do? You keep the spending going, you have the tax policy, the tax levels you have to fight for depending on when they expire. So this is why permanence is so important.
Yes, thank you for that. I think it's really, really important.
CBO scoring, okay? CBO scoring, that is about as well explained. It makes Enron look conservative. It's an absolute joke anytime something comes out. Well, the CBO says this will add $2.7 trillion to the debt over this. The CBO does not factor, well, we've only got so much time. That is exactly right. So this guy, now tariffs, well explained, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. The tariffs is income and how to score it.
And I think we're going to is the tariff income. Right now we have substantial tariff income from China that President Biden left on. And If we have new tariff income, we won't be able to score that since it won't go through the legislative process. But I could tell you that could be very substantial. And if you think about when people say, "Oh, tariffs are a regressive tax," that well, are they a regressive tax if you then use the income from tariffs to no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, making auto loans tax deductible? Those four policies, which President Trump put forward during the campaign, all accrue to the bottom 50% of wage earners and working Americans. So, could you have a tariff policy that is in finances income tax cuts and real income increases for the bottom 50%? I think that'd be pretty great.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever?
I mean, this is he, this guy, the way he explains. I mean, Trump wants tariffs that are going to help pay. They'll come out and say no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, interest on car loans exempt. I mean, the list goes on. Now, remember, in COVID, all right? See, Donald Trump is trying to force manufacturing, force it back into this country, because I hate to say what we learned during COVID, because that's a statement in itself. But remember COVID, what did we forget like it was so long ago, but what were we told? Supply chain disruption. Remember? Supply chain disruption. Now, you have heard what's called nearshoring, where they call it nearshoring, meaning getting these factories to go to Canada or Mexico, right, to come into this country tariff-free. We have to shore. We need to reshore our products. We need to bring them back. We had a whole list during COVID of medicine, right? Chips, one thing after another. And Donald Trump is look, you want to collapse the world again? All right, collapse the world. But we are going to force companies to come back in this country, manufacture things for Americans, and we're not going to have this again. We're not going to have our car lots totally sitting empty because the manufacturer says we don't have any chips. All right? Don't forget that stuff. This is everything. Donald Trump is trying to make these things happen for the good of the country, while the people that hate this country, you've seen that the other night. Go to 659. I don't know if we're there yet. So go to 659.
Policy. I think one thing that has become clear to me over the past decade, the past few years, and I set it out in an editorial that I wrote in The Economist, is Ricardian equivalence does not work if other countries have a very different economic and social policy. So China is exporting their policies to us. They decimated our manufacturing sector. There's a new paper out called The China Shock, and it said the communities recovered, the workers haven't. And so clearly the policy is not working for working Americans. So China, they exported their policies, and tariffs are one way to push back on this. So I do think it is good policy, and it is, I've said, and I say this because I know it's what President Trump believes. He believes three things. One, that it is a good source of revenues. Two, it protects our important industries and the employees. And three, he's added a third leg to the stool, and he uses it for negotiating.
I often...
Equivalent. trading around the world. Now, I believe in, my personal belief is American free trade. Okay. But we're talking about equivalent trade around the world where we get treated the same. If you want treated this way and you don't put our products on the shelf, or you charge us to put our products on the shelf, and I have to tell you, that is very important. This guy's laying out. You got all the hysteria. I'm going to give you some other stuff. This one I found very interesting. The minerals deal. This is very interesting what China does. And this is why when you hear China dumping cheap steel, dumping cheap aluminum, and tariffs on certain products, listen to what China does in processing rare earth minerals that we have to have for chips, for batteries, for the battery industry of your weed eater and your blower and the things that you do have battery packs on. Listen to what China does. 10 minutes and 15 seconds, Diane.
Lessons we learned during COVID of not having reliable trading partners. And to your point, Larry, we can accumulate all of the strategic mineral deposits that we need, but China still processes 85% of the processing. Right. And every time a private sector company tries to stand up a processing facility outside of China drops their prices and puts them out of business. Right. There are several in the United States that are just sitting idle because the Chinese saw what was happening and dropped it, and that's unacceptable.
Yes. I just want to, another question.
They're sitting idle. The rare earth minerals that have to be processed, China processes 85% of them. He said we could secure all the rare earth minerals we want, but we have processing plants for those minerals sitting idle in this country because every time they go to fire up, China dumps the price on the processing and they can't fire up, and they do it on purpose. Now, look, Trump is standing up for you and I and the American people. The media, this is highlighting just how evil these people are. Let's go to 11:20 on this one, 11 minutes and 20 seconds, suspending. If we ended up with 4 more years of this, listen to this.
Another round on it.
Yes. I mean, I just talked about the spending is too high. And I think that, Larry, you and I have talked about it. I've seen Glenn Hubbard talk about it in EC&Y seminars. But if you can change the growth trajectory, then we can grow our way out of this debt. And again, another one of the reasons that I'm sitting up here and not out there was I was afraid that 4 more years of like we just had would make it impossible to grow out of our debt, that the accumulated debt stock would be just too big, and you would have to go into a European-style system where you're working all the time just to pay off the debt. But I do think we are taking this seriously. I do think this is the last chance bar and grill to get this done. And imagine if we think about a growth trajectory, and again, back to CBO scoring. CBO scoring scores in the projections, they talk about, or they use 1.7, 1.8% baseline growth for 10 years, whether you cut taxes or raise taxes. So if we are sitting here in a year and we've just had the tax hike in history, the CBO will not change their growth projection. Will not have changed it, even though I don't even want to think what growth could look like. So if we could get above 3%, if we could hold expenses in line, flat, or even if we could do the unthinkable, if we think about a kind of a naive reductionist model of government, G = equals S minus T, spending minus taxes. Republicans, we like more spending, but we just want to do it slower. We like lower taxes. Democrats like higher taxes. What if the S actually held flat or went down? That'd be a pretty good story.
It sure would. You know, I saw it.
Last Chance Bar and Grill. 4 more years. 4 more years. This is it. I mean, the warning is just what it is. This is it. This is it. We have to pass the tax plan. We have to cut spending. We have to cut waste, fraud, and abuse. We have to get rid of the corruption. This is it. I tell you what, I'm listening, and he is validating in ways that just to me. Listen to this, because we're going to get into privatizing, and the fastest growth in the United States, don't forget, was what area code? 8 years. Washington, D.C., 8 years of Barack Hussein Obama, the fastest growth, federal government. 15. Let's go to 15 and start there.
You know, is there a Doge spot for this? And perhaps how much might that be?
Larry, I don't know yet, but to think that there's no waste, fraud, or abuse in the U.S. government, think about it. Now that I live in D.C., 25% of U.S. GDP flows through area code 202. Everybody is trying to, like, there are all these markers on that. Same thing. Americans with health care, every Monday is paying for your health care. But when you think about 25% of GDP flowing through area code 202, everybody's trying to skim a portion of it, trying to reallocate it. I don't know what the savings level can be, but I think examining a lot of these contracts, a lot of this employment, and I was with Glenn Youngkin, governor of Virginia, the other day, and
So we're going to 16, 15 seconds in just a minute. But 25% of the GDP is flowing through area code 202, Northern Virginia. Now, they turned Virginia blue, right? Just like they're turning Georgia blue, same way. They're turning these areas blue. They turn Virginia blue in Northern Virginia, right? And everybody's saying, like, wow, where will these people get a job? There's plenty of jobs in the private sector. Plenty in the private sector. So let's go to Virginia, private sector jobs, and then we're going to talk about government-driven economy. 16, 15, and get ready for me to stop you here, Diane, because I want to go to this next segment. I want to set it up. 16, 15.
so his Northern Virginia would probably be the area most affected. And I said, Governor, how are you handling this? How are you messaging it? And he said, we have 350,000 private sector jobs available in Virginia. My office has a portal up, and anyone can go on the portal and come and join us in the private sector.
I mean, that goes to your theory.
They have a portal up. You could get a job in the private sector. There will be jobs. Now, the jobs report will come out. I think it's supposed to come out at 10 o'clock. It may already be out, the jobs report. All right. And, well, I'm going to make those comments Monday. Wait for to see the jobs report and how they react to it. So I don't want to jump anything there. But, right, get a job. Don't worry, get a job. 25%. Now, I'm going to say this. This is it. This is it. Give me 15 video. Give me 16 minutes and 47 seconds, and this will probably round out. I'll show you where to stop. If I tell you to stop, just pause it right there because I don't have another timestamp. I might keep going. 1647.
You want to. This has been a government-driven economy. You want to make this a private sector-driven economy. We want to, as I understand it, disempower the public federal bureaucracy and re-empower the kind of risk-taking and investment that goes along with private sector advances. You'll see headlines, federal jobs are down, oh my God. But the fact is the private sector should be vastly bigger than the public sector anyway. And you with tax policies have a lot of incentives. So I want to end on your theory to re-privatize the economy, which I think is so important and should in fact be a global model for other countries.
Well, Larry, everyone knows what they should do. It's just, do they have the willpower to do it? For any of you who haven't read it, Mario Draghi 2 weeks ago in the FT had a very good piece on a European competitiveness paper that he put together, and where he talks about that intra-Europe is actually tariffing themselves more than America ever could because of their high regulatory burden. And when I think that as we bring down the spending, and we're not going to do it all at once, I'm not in the habit of repeating private conversations, but I will tell you, first time I went in to see President Trump talk about getting involved with the campaign, he looked at me and said, Scott, how are we going to get this debt and deficit down without killing the economy?
Mm-hmm.
And I've been thinking nonstop about that for the past 18 months now, and I really do think it's this transition from public to private that will bring down or will deleverage the government.
Mm-hmm.
And as I talked about, that's why I wanted to lead with it today to this group, that we will re-leverage the private sector. And part of the key to re-leveraging the private sector is cutting regulation, making the tax policy permanent, and getting our regulated banking system going again. I think that private credit is exciting. It's the breadth, depth of our capital markets. It's something that is new in our capital markets, but we also have to get the regulated entities lending again. I think that they can coexist. And I think Main Street, in terms of the regulated entities, being squeezed, it's really happened at the smaller regional banks, small banks, and community banks, which hits Main Street. And like I said, Wall Street's done great. Wall Street can continue doing well, but this administration is about Main Street.
Anyway, Secretary, we appreciate your visiting here, and we wish you best.
I think you know me by now and how that grabs me just to the core. Transition from a public economy to a private economy. The private sector driven economy versus a government sector driven economy. Now, a government sector driven economy is printing money, flat just printing money and pushing it out. Okay. The private sector driven economy has to be larger than the government sector driven economy. Now, I can tell you this, and not to go into any further details, we'll leave it at that. I know like a county, this has happened all over the United States. So I know a county that in the 70s, we'll call it the early 70s, late 60s, early 70s, that they had about 3 to 4 manufacturing plants, at least 3 that I could think of, that combined in these 3 manufacturing plants were the largest, this is a private sector, was the largest employers in the county. Today, the private sector manufacturers, these factories are gone, and private sector jobs pale in comparison. This is a small rural county where the largest, I think, private sector employer is 300, I think, where the government sector employer driven economy is like 1,000. The government sector of the county government sector, all combined, is now the largest employer in the county. Can't do it. Can't sustain it. If in your counties, your cities, your states, and the federal government, if the private sector does not drive the economy over and above the size of the government sector, we cannot sustain, maintain, or continue. It can't happen. It's not real. This guy privatizing community banks, regular lending. We'll talk about that later because that really gets me fired up. Community banks, right? And regular lending. I know what that means. So I'm going to give you one more thing before we jump out for the weekend. I've got two more things, but I'm going to make some announcements, so stay with me right here. This one right here. Yesterday, they're not talking about this, obviously. They are not talking about this. Go ahead and give me, I love this. I want you to look this up. Oh, give me 64. First of all, give me 64, right? Let's go with that. I got to give Miranda Devine a shout out. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent told the New York Economy Club. Wow, do that on Friday. The first time I went to see President Trump, he looked at me and said, "How do I get this debt and deficit down without killing the economy?" I've been thinking about that for 18 months. And the way to do it is the transition from public sector to private sector driven economy. 25% of the GDP goes through Washington, D.C., area code 202. Wow, just can't. All right, can't make that up. Now, give me 63. And I want you to follow this guy, if you would, because here's your homework. You ready with your homework? Here's your homework. I want you to look up why you think President Trump did this yesterday, and if we're in the right direction of draining the swamp, and if you think we will probably put some people in prison. And this is Real Robert at real_ROBN. He's a great guy. I know the guy. And this is Barack Obama's criminal enterprise. Remember these names. Go look this up. He has done a great job putting, John Podesta's on there. Uma Abedin's on there. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Remember Debbie Wasserman Schultz? You remember the On One brothers? You remember Seth Rich? He's dead. DNC staffer. Well, anyhow, read this. Look at this right here. They're losing it. They're a nervous wreck. I hope Elon Musk is wrong. I do. I want to say I want Elon Musk to be wrong. I don't want anybody to get killed, but video 3.
Sir, your administration has made it a priority both to end lawfare and the weaponization of government, and also to hold those who have engaged in lawfare accountable. One of the law firms that has been involved in that is called Perkins Coie. That's also a law firm that has engaged in unlawful DEI practices. This executive order will suspend security.
And I've watched it take place.
This executive order will suspend security clearances and access to certain federal resources for that law firm, and also launch a holistic review of unlawful DEI practices at some of the nation's largest law firms.
This is an absolute honor decide. What they've done is it's just terrible. It's weaponization. You could say weaponization against a political opponent, and it should never be allowed to happen again. And you're looking at about 15 different firms?
That or more, sir, yes.
Okay.
Mark Elias, Perkins Coie, Hillary Clinton, Brad Raffensperger, Perkins Coie. I don't know. You got homework. You got homework. I've seen this happen myself. I've seen this. It's an honor to sign this. By the way, that's Donald Trump signing that document, not Otto pen, Joe Biden. All right. Now, you hear this quite often. I know you know what it means, but I want to throw it up here because here's some more homework, okay? You hear proxy war all the time. Proxy war. Number 47, Diane. A proxy war is a conflict between countries that are indirectly supported by third parties rather than directly fighting each other. The third parties use this support to further their own interest. Did you get that? All right. A proxy war. You hear that all the time. It angers the deep state, corporate, corrupt, mockingbird media. A proxy war is a conflict between countries, Russia, Ukraine, that are indirectly supported by third parties, meaning Ukraine. We have poured it in there as fast as we can. Rather than directly fighting each other, the third parties use this support to further their own interests. Why do you think I've said over and over that Russia, whether you like it or not, Russia, there has to be a way to find peace with us and Europe and Russia, not just Ukraine and Russia, because of the proxy war that we have contributed to. How proxy wars work: third parties can support combatants with money, weapons, and sometimes troops. A third party can avoid direct military involvement. Wonder who that is. The third parties can orchestrate battles through surrogate forces. Well, when we come back, I told you I have a meeting, but I have 20 minutes of Georgia discussion. We're going to call it the Georgia Hour because that's what it is, but we have 20 minutes of Georgia discussion. Now, before we go to that, take that down, Diane. Before we go to that, put all the ways people can find us. Now, folks, please, we're going to make some changes. They're coming Monday. They're not hurting the program. Everything we do, Diane and I had a meeting, everything we do is to enhance the program, period. All right? So in the mornings at 8 a.m., you can find us on Roku. If you have a Roku TV or a device, go find the app, voiceofruralamerica.com. You can find us on Roku, okay? Now, Roku plays in a loop, meaning when we're done here at 11 o'clock or 10:30 or whatever it may be, Diane, once she's done, she sets it up and the show runs for 24 hours. So if you don't get to see it at 8 a.m., you can pick it up at 11. You can pick it up, or 11:30. You can pick it up at 1:30, 2:30 in the afternoon on Roku. All right? It'll play in a loop. Now, if you want to just watch certain segments and send them to our friends, you go to Rumble, voiceofruralamerica.com, join. Don't just go there and look. Go ahead and subscribe and join. And that way you get the notifications and you won't miss them. The entire show is live on Rumble every single morning. Every single morning it's live there. Okay? That's where you can find the show, Rumble. Now, what if you just want that 30 or 40-minute segment pertaining to a certain topic? When we're done with the show, Diane writes a summary. She writes summary reports of the segments, and she posts those videos on Rumble, so you can go find them there, all right? Then on Twitter, Voice X at 8 a.m., Voice of Rural AM. We couldn't put America AM. Voice of Rural AM. Follow us on Twitter, Okay. Then we have a podcast. All right. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make some things for next week to go ahead and show you like screenshots of where these are and where you can find them. We're gonna help you any way we can. Now you got to contact us if you have a problem. We have what's called a script error, and we're working on something with Google. We have a script error with Apple. All right. And we're having some kind of difficulty with Google, but we're getting it cleared up and we'll let you know. But if you're trying to watch in a certain area and it's not showing up for you, we're not the big network. We're the truthful network. It's not the size of the network. It's the truth of the network. Write that down, Diane. I like that. It's not the size of the network. It's the truth of the network, and you can find it here. Write that down. Write that down. I like that. Anyhow, so you're the technical department. We always say, if you have problems, let us know. Audio, video, connecting, whatever. We're working on that. Working on that now through Apple and Google Play. And we're going to have a new platform that's coming up very soon. Now you can go to our Facebook page. All right? Voice of Rural America Facebook page. We tried it about a month ago. It's running perfect on Facebook. We're doing some work on the YouTube channel now. We'll talk about that Monday, but we're going to work on things so where no matter where you're at, you can find us. Voice of Rural America on Facebook. It's live every morning at 8 a.m., and we seem to be going fine on that. We talked about it yesterday. So we're working on some things. Let us know. These are the ways you can locate us, but you can always get us at the bottom of the screen. You can text us, email us, and we'll respond. Okay? Big things going on. We'll get with you Monday on that. Take a break, but we have about 20 minutes of Georgia information. Last night was crossover, and there's a couple things we have to share before we run, and I run for the meeting, and we're not going to run for the border, but we're going to run for the weekend. Take a break.
Days Chevrolet Jasper is North Georgia's business elite commercial truck giant. Box trucks, landscape trucks, flatbed and heavy hauling trucks. When you've got a job to do, we've got the commercial truck for you. And get a federal tax credit up to 100% of the purchase price. Hundreds of commercial trucks are all right here at Days Chevrolet Jasper. Days Chevrolet. Days gets it done. Together, let's drive.
Body Shop in Ellijay. Family owned and operated since 1978. The latest in cutting-edge digital technology and state-of-the-art equipment allow our iCard Gold Class certified technicians to restore your vehicle. Our second-to-none customer service will work directly with your insurance company. Major accident or minor fender bender, we take the dents out of accidents. Larry's Body Shop, North Georgia's #1 body shop. Visit us at collisiondecision.com.
Why give your money to liberal media companies? Put your marketing needs in the hands of a conservative marketing professional and start getting results today. FYN Media Group, one of the top digital marketing agencies in Georgia, specializes in website design and hosting, social media promotion and management, and so much more. Visit FYNmediagroup.com or call 706-889-3564 for a free consultation.
Ladies, when you wear elegant jewelry, you become a force to be reckoned with. You shine brighter than the stars in the sky, and your inner beauty radiates like the sun. So embrace the magic, embrace the elegance, and let your jewelry be a reflection of your true, authentic self. My friends over at North Georgia Diamond know what a woman wants. Go see them for the perfect gift. And remember, when it comes to elegance, There's no such thing as too much. Come see us at North Georgia Diamond. We're igniting passion one sparkle at a time.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
This is a special report.
Knowing how to invest your money is harder than ever before. Dealing with stock market volatility, record debt, and terrorist attacks requires new thinking. At U.S. Asset Management, we can help you see the world more clearly so that you can move beyond the chaos and invest with confidence. Call us, visit us online, or drop by our office. U.S. Asset Management, helping you make better decisions with your money.
Mesquite Grill, now offering online ordering for your convenience. Check out our new website at mesquitegrillbr.com. That's mesquitegrillbr.com. The great food and service you have come to expect, ready for you when you arrive. Open 7 days a week with a fully stocked bar and friendly service. Bring your furry friends with you and dine on our pet-friendly patio. Also, check out our catering options and let us prepare delicious food for your next event.
And we're back. I'm your host, BKP, and you're watching the Georgia Hour. And yes, I forgot to put my jacket back on. So you're watching the Georgia Hour this morning. And we're only going to have a couple minutes. It's Friday. Yesterday in the state of Georgia was what we call crossover day. So I'm going to give you just a brief explanation of what's happening. It would have to be the Georgia 12-hour show to go over everything. But first, this is going to be a brief opinion that's going to be involved with this, but give me number 58. Now, we all remember when, and I'm going to have to summarize some of this, okay? But we all remember when Colton Moore, State Senator Colton Moore, attempted to enter the House chamber during the joint session on the day that Governor Brian Kemp was doing the State of the State address. And we know that John Burns banned him from the floor. He attempted to go in, and let me pull it up here so I can see it along with the screen, because he attempted to go in. We all know what happened that day. And he got into a scuffle, as they call it, trying to go in. And this gentleman here, give me number 59. We have seen the picture that has rocked, actually, the nation. Everybody knows this. Northwest Georgia senator said he subpoenaed the House Speaker and other top Republicans at the chamber. So there's a legal move. So State Senator Colton Moore went to Fulton County Magistrate Court, and he wants to get an arrest. What is his name there? The guy that threw him down. I'm looking for that. I forget his name. He wants to get an arrest warrant for this gentleman that threw him on the ground. And Keith Williams, that's it. Here's the picture. Give me number 60. Moore is seeking, I think I had this backwards there, but that's okay. Moore is seeking criminal charges against Keith Williams, the general counsel. There you go. That's Keith that is throwing him to the ground. Now, all right. And the warrant application was filed January 27th, 10 days after the incident. Moore requested that charges be brought against Williams, Keith Williams, who grabbed and tackled him. Now, John Burns, Speaker of the House, he was served. He was served for this. And Chuck, how do you say his name? I had it here. Efstration. Majority Leader for the House was subpoenaed. Chuck Efstration. They were now England. Is in the hospital. All right. The House Chief of Staff, John Burns, Chief of Staff, who is hospitalized right now, Terry England, he was served a subpoena in the hospital. So England's been subpoenaed, John Burns has been subpoenaed, and Efstration's been subpoenaed to appear. All right. Now they're asking for a warrant, an arrest warrant. Here you go, number 61. And this is Colton Moore versus Randall Keith Williams, and arrest warrant application hearing Friday, March 7th at 9 a.m. It will happen in Fulton County, 62. Here's 62. Here's the head of it. Entry of appearance. Colton Moore, prosecutor. Randall Williams, the defendant, in the Magistrate Court of Fulton County. So let's go back. Diane, go ahead and go back and give me number 60 there where you can see that. So this morning, we don't know the outcome yet, but Colton Moore has asked Fulton County to issue an arrest warrant for Keith Williams, subpoenaed to be there to testify in front of the magistrate is John Burns, Speaker of the House, and Efstration, the House Speaker, Majority Leader in the House, and Terry England, Chief of Staff, hospitalized, was subpoenaed in the hospital. So I don't know if he can go or not, asking for an arrest warrant. Now, one would think the argument that'll be made is this happened inside the Capitol. And the Capitol is like the DC zone, right? Like DC. It's called Capitol Square. And Capitol Square has its own law enforcement authorities. So the argument that'll probably be made, that I think will be made, will be that Fulton County Magistrate's Office does not have jurisdiction to issue a warrant for something that happened inside the Capitol. Now, how far that'll go, or if what that will be in turnout, I don't know. But I will say this. I don't have my magic 8-ball, but I see in my crystal ball future what I would say leverage for a really big settlement. So today, will there be an arrest of Keith Williams? I don't know. But do I see today leverage on a very maybe large settlement for State Senator Colton Moore? Yeah, I see that down the road. All right, take that down. So that's happening now. So yesterday was crossover. More bills. And I'm going to say this and get out because I have an appointment to go to for the weekend. The House passed 75 bills just yesterday. Just yesterday. Now, let me tell you this for those that don't like to hear. You cannot pass 75 bills unless the majority of your state house representatives are not told to just go, all right, bill this, yes, bill that, yes, bill over here, yes. You can't read 75 bills. You can't break down 75 bills. They're put on your desk and they're said they passed out of committee. Say yes, say yes, say yes. Next one, yes. Next one, yes. Next one, yes. Did you read that one? Yes. No. Yeah, no, but I'm voting yes. Did you read that one? No, but I'm voting yes. Did you read that one? No, but I was told to vote yes. Not possible. This is not to anger people because people say, oh my God. Well, now, you know, there was probably some good bills. All right, but I'm going to look in the camera and tell you the odds of your state representative reading all 75 of those bills and voting based on their district and their constituents and what's best for their area and voting how they think you would want them to vote did not happen. It couldn't. So 75 bills made it across yesterday from the House into the Senate alone. Now they will come back Monday. So this is HB 303. I get a lot of discussion on this. So here's your homework assignment. Look at the bills like the debanking. All right. What was that bill? SB 57. It failed. We were trying to get it passed. SB 57, it failed. The debanking, we wanted that passed. You know why it failed? The bank lobbies. You know who they got to? Speaker Pro Temp Kennedy. Speaker Pro Temp Kennedy led the way to kill SB 57. There you go. It happened. Now, your homework over the weekend. What passed? Because God knows your lawmakers don't know. Their head's still spinning from pushing the button yes, unbeknownst to them. So what passed? Now, what happened is everything that passed in the House, I know you know this, moved over to the Senate. Everything that passed in the Senate moved over to the House. Now, this is where the House will modify, change, or add on to Senate bills. This is where the Senate will modify House bills, change them, and add on to House bills, meaning we can still push SB 307 into a House bill and force the House to take it. We can do that. We got to pay attention to it and work on it. We have to. Bottom line. Now, the other thing about that is when they cross over, they start adding on and putting things on the bills that we have to pay attention to come Monday morning. You have to know what's what. You got it? Now, if you call your state senator today and say, this is just a guess, if you say to your state senator today, hey, House Bill so-and-so passed, what are you going to do about it? Odds are most of your state senators don't even know what that is till Monday morning or start looking at it this weekend. Most state senators will tell you, I don't look at an HB. If it says HB, I don't even look at HB until it comes over. I'm a senator and I look at SB. I don't even pay attention to HB until it hits over here. That's when I focus on it. Same thing on the other side. So don't get caught off guard if they didn't look at it. Now, I am going to do another segment Monday. You got it? I want to thank you for reaching out in the phone calls. So if you're looking for all of my segments concerning the Georgia GOP Inc., And some of the things, I appreciate your kind words. And in fact, I got a phone call yesterday from a very important person that said, don't stop digging, don't stop pushing, right? I got a phone call from someone that said, boy, I think we made a mistake letting them remove you from office. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Monday, if you're looking for my segments on the Georgia GOP Inc., go to Rumble, Voice of Rural America. They're all there. Share them with your friends. Great stuff over the weekend. Yesterday's, I'm being told, was absolutely, I was told yesterday, sad but true. I got messages saying very sad but true. So go look them up and be prepared Monday for more as we go towards the convention cycle of the Georgia GOP Inc. And Josh, have a nice weekend. I'll see you Monday, 8 a.m.